Hey everybody, what's going on? We are doing our final video on blood vessels, which is going to be all about circulatory pathways. Now, my alternative name for this is we are doing some blood tracing. Blood tracing, where I give you a start point and a stop point, and you tell me how the blood goes from that start to that stop. So the basic way a question would look is it would say something like, trace a drop of blood from somewhere to somewhere, naming every blood vessel, heart valve, heart chamber, heart valve, and organ through which it passes. And putting everything in the correct order, of course. So I could put anything I want here, anything I want here within reason from all the regions and organs that we learned in the previous two labs on blood vessels. So we could say like trace blood from the back of the knee. From the back of the knee or the posterior knee all the way to the eye. That would be a beautiful one. Or maybe we want to say something like trace blood from the spleen to the, left ankle. So all sorts of possibilities here. Now, one of the great things about a blood tracing question is no matter what the start and stop are, there is always a scheme to your answer. Okay, there's always a common way you're going to answer it. You're going to start at your start point, of course. Then you're always going to take veins. And veins always take you back to the right side of the heart, out to the lungs, and then to the left side of the heart. So always veins, right side of the heart, lungs, left side of the heart. Then from the left side of the heart, we always take arteries to our end point. So no matter what the start point, no matter what the stop point, this is the way we answer the question. And that middle part with the heart, the lungs, and the heart always looks like this. So we're always going to take veins to the right atrium. So veins are always going to go to the right atrium. And of course, you're either going to be in the inferior vena cava or the superior vena cava. So one of those two guys before the right atrium. And then from the right atrium, we go into the tricuspid valve, into the right ventricle, pulmonary semilunar valve, pulmonary trunk, pulmonary artery, lungs. If you didn't want to say lungs, if you want to continue the pulmonary trend, you could say pulmonary capillaries. That's totally cool. And then the pulmonary vein, left atrium, mitral valve, left ventricle, aortic semilunar valve, ascending aorta, aortic arch. And then it depends on, where we're going. Like, so if we're in that aortic arch, if we're going somewhere in the upper body, we'll take one of those three branches off that aortic arch. If we're going somewhere in the lower body, we'll take our descending thoracic aorta down to our descending abdominal aorta. But this middle chunk here, no matter what the question is, it's always going to be part of your answer. So I'm guaranteeing you're going to include this. This is a nice little chunk of points you can get. No matter what, this is part of your answer. So you at least should know this. If you don't get this part right, I know that, that's just a bad sign. Okay, here are some possible start and end points. So you should look at your blood vessel for both blood vessels, your models, your pictures for both arteries and veins. You should know your map. If you know your map, you can take from any of these places. You can go from there back to the heart, or you can go from the heart to any of these places. Let's do a couple of sample problems, like from the small intestine to the eye. So the small intestine, we are going to start, of course, with veins. And the vein we're going to start with is the superior mesenteric vein. Because we know that small intestine, digestive organ, has to go to the liver first. Superior mesenteric vein takes me where? Takes me to my hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein takes me to the liver, where blood is filtered and processed. From the liver, we're going to take the hepatic vein, and the hepatic vein takes me back to the inferior vena cava, which takes me back to that heart, lungs, heart sequence. And since we did that on a previous page, I'm not going to rewrite that. Of course, you would have to write out the whole heart, lungs, heart part on your exam. And then the last thing in the heart, lungs, heart part was the aortic arch. So it actually does matter, like whether we're going to the right or to the left eye. If we're going to the right eye, we're going to add the brachiocephalic artery to the common carotid on the right. If we're going to the left, we're just going to take the common carotid. Because remember, if we're thinking about the heart and the branches of the aortic arch, the first one is the brachiocephalic. The second one is the left common carotid. The third is the left subclavian. And then we know that brachiocephalic splits into a right subclavian and a right common carotid. So to get to the right common carotid, you got to also take the brachiocephalic. To get to the left common carotid, you just come straight off the aortic arch. So I'm only going to use the brachiocephalic artery if I'm going to the right. Then we take the common carotid artery, take the common carotid artery to the internal carotid artery, and don't abbreviate like I'm doing on a test, of course. And then internal carotid artery, we're going to take that to the ophthalmic artery. And that's going to take us to the eye. Boom. Done. Notice how, what do we had? We had 5 vessels before the heart, lungs, heart. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 if we're going on the right side. 3 if we're going on the left side. Arteries after the heart, lungs, heart. So the heart, lungs, heart part is the biggest part that we've got. Anyway, let's do another one. This is a good one. I like this one. Let's do another one. From the dorsal foot to the stomach. Well, the easy way to get out of that dorsal foot, so in that dorsal foot, we got a dorsal venous arch. Dorsal venous, I'm just going to write vein arch. We're going to take that to the great saphenous vein. I don't know why I put a period there. The great saphenous vein. I love the great saphenous vein. The great saphenous vein takes us to the femoral vein, and left or right, it doesn't matter. Femoral vein takes us to the external iliac vein. And of course, we know the external iliac vein takes us to the common iliac vein, which takes us to the inferior vena cava, which takes us to the heart, lungs, heart part. And then if we're coming off the aortic arch, which was the last thing on the heart, lungs, heart, and we're going down to the stomach, we're going to take our descending thoracic aorta. Then we're going to take our descending abdominal aorta. Then we're going to take our celiac artery. Then we're going to take our left gastric artery. And that is going to put us at the stomach. Again, notice how it's not that bad. Like we had 5 vessels to get to the heart, or 6 rather, vessels to get to the heart, lungs, heart. And I don't know if do you really count the inferior vena cava, because you know you're coming from the bottom, you're going to hit that guy. And then 4 vessels after it. 2 of them are the aorta, its thoracic and its abdominal parts. I mean, come on, that's not too bad. All right, so definitely do some practice. At the very least, know your heart, lungs, heart part. Also, notice as you're thinking about things, a lot of these things go together. Like if I know the stomach, I also know the spleen, the large intestine, the small intestine, and the liver, because all these guys are going to be really simple. Testy, kidney, and adrenal gland. This group, really easy and together. Hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder. Notice how we have like a line that we're going through right there. I'm not going to do the chest for you. I can tell you that much. Maybe if you got a different teacher than me, they will. Similarly, if you know the knee, you know the thigh, pelvis is pretty straightforward as well. So it's not that bad. All right, on that note, I'm going to call it quits on this video. We went through some sample problems. That was the last one there. So definitely shortest video of all time. I hope it helps. If you have questions, by all means, come see me before your test. Let me know. Bye-bye.